Welcome to Normal America Show. I'm your host, robnoerr. You're not going to believe it, but my microphone was on mute and I caught it right as we were going live here. I'm learning. Happy to spend this Sunday evening with you for another rousing episode of I'm Speaking Now. Of course, everyone knows the premier black female voice channel in all of the land. Tonight we'll again be reading a riveting chapter from the book I'm Speaking Now. Black women share their truth in 101 stories of love, courage, and hope. What more is there to say? Quite possibly the most riveting nonfiction book ever to exist. We should just get right to it, right? Why even peck around here? I should just read from the book, right? Oh, man, what has my week been up to? Yeah, I saw the Trump alien pic. That was funny. Sunday Book Club, it's great, right? Man, did I have a fun weekend. One of my favorite in a long time. Yesterday was an absolute blast. Though I did accidentally, maybe just a little, just the teeny tiniest amount, make a public racism. Ooh. Just a little of the racisms, which I'll tell you about. And the fact it was in front of my kid. Ugh. I'll leave you all judge. We'll get to it. First off, I feel I'm immune from racist criticism, seeing as how I'm the host of I'm Speaking Now. Right? Who else is giving black women a voice as much as me? But before I get into that, I did want to mention, in case I realized I was damn near asleep, what was it? Friday night. My good friend Tony that was streaming, I wasn't trying to, I do like Tony, I'm not trying to insult him. I am trying to be careful with what I do with the algorithm. So I have all kinds of talks with people about stupid things. Some of the things with the algorithm are simple, like, well, not simple, but benign, like you need to do better thumbnails or catchier titles with your videos or this, that, and the other. And then some of them has to do with like the topics you're talking about and how much you swear and which channels you're rating. So I'm trying to run a fine line, right? There are certain topics on certain channels that become difficult. Like, I don't know that I'll be rating over to Myron Gaines anymore. I like Myron. I do. I don't agree with Myron on everything, but I do like Myron. But until I talk to someone a little more in the know, I'm probably going to avoid the raids to Myron, which someone suggested me might not have been helping out. So that's all it is. That's it. It's no hard feelings. So I got to turn this air conditioner back on. But that was that. I hope no one took it the wrong way or anything of that nature. My wife, her friend had a surprise birthday party. So my wife and her sister went to that. And so Friday night I streamed and my son went to her mom's. And then Saturday I went there and we went to a little mini zoo. And my son was an absolute trooper. The first thing we did was we stopped at the gas station Sheetz, which is sort of a Pennsylvania Northeast thing. But it's, it's not that different than other gas stations. What's notable about this is my son's getting into he is absolutely fascinated by the fountain drink machine. That to him it's like, oh my goodness, I could get my own. I could put how much ice I want. I could even mix drinks. It's fascinated. And I introduced him to the touch screen where you could order. So he likes hamburger with only pickles and ketchup. So I showed him how to hit the buttons. He thought it was cool. It's like playing a game. He's hitting the screen. So he had a lot of fun at Sheets. We went to Sheets for a hamburger. The only thing about a place like that is all of your stuff's like piecemeal. Now maybe they have combos or something, but that's never how I order it. So you get like a hamburger, and then you get like French fries, and then you get a drink, and all of a sudden it's like $16. You're like, holy shit! Of course, if you go to McDonald's or something, it's like $12 now, anyways. But thanks, Trump. Thanks a lot, buddy. Hope it was worth it. Hope this attack in Iran was worth my poor son having to pay $16 for a fucking hamburger with pickles on it. You know? Yeah, he hates cheese. He likes cheese on pizza and that's it. Anything else, no go. So, we went to Sheets and then we went to this little mini zoo. It's a lot of fun. The reason we picked this one in particular, there's like 3 of them in my area. One's pretty close. It's like 25 minutes away. Then the other 2 are about an hour away. But this one we went to, it's called Living Treasures Animal Park. And he likes this one the best of the 3 little ones around because his favorite animal is there. And his favorite animal in the world is alligators. He absolutely loves alligators. And so they're not huge alligators. They're maybe 2.5 feet long. But they got like 20 of them. And you could pay and they'll give you, I don't know what kind of feed they give you to throw in, and the alligators will eat it. And that's that's the top notch, man. So we get there and it's unseasonably cold and it's rainy. And so guess what that means? No alligators. And so it was a very much a bummer. It was too cold for the alligators. So he was a little bummed out. But right next to the alligators where they're supposed to be was a pygmy hippo, which was pretty cool. And they had some camels. And then they have like a little petting zoo area you could go in. It was fun. We had a lot of fun, man. And then after that, we went to the Keystone Spillway up on Pymatuning Lake. Has anyone here ever been to the Keystone Spillway, Pymatuning? It's not like a national landmark or anything. But where I grow up, it was the place to be. The Spillway. We always just called it Pymatuning. But I'd be curious if anyone spelled PymA, Pymatuning. Yes, the reptile sanctuary, there's none around here. We're a little up north for that, but I am going to get him to one this. No one's ever been to Pymatuning. Yeah, Sweet Tech gets it. Yes. Finally, someone. Yeah, they have like a fish hatchery there with carp, and these carp are all probably about, they're decent size. And there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. And you go and you buy old loaves of bread there. It'll be like $1 for an old loaf of bread or a bag of bagels. And you throw them in. And these carp go nuts. They're just jumping on top of each other to eat this bread. Then you got all these ducks and geese that are there. And there's so many fish that they could walk on the fish. So they like fight with the fish to get the bread. It's cool as shit. I think it's cool. I always liked it when I was younger. And I love taking my son there. If you're ever in the Pennsylvania area, like towards northwestern Pennsylvania, you should look into it. It's called the Keystone Spillway. I very much enjoyed it. However, it is there where I made a racism. So I will tell you the story of my racisms. Now, I was on my best behavior. I wasn't intending to make a racism, but I slipped into it. We'll have to leave the audience decide whether or not. I did this innocently. I did not say anything about a fish head wife after seeing a carp. That would have been appropriate, but no. We get out, we're in the parking lot, and my son's very excited. So it's me and Grandpa and Grandma and Hank. And he's very excited. So we get out of the parking lot, and he knows when we're in the parking lot, he has to hold my hand or my wife's hand, right? As soon as we get to the side lot, phew, he takes off running. I was like, hey, slow down there, Speedy Gonzalez. And I shit you not, 2 feet to the left of me is this Mexican lady that just turns and stares at me. I was like, what are the chances? Right in the middle of Pennsylvania, some Mexican lady. They're speaking Spanish and all. Yeah. So, whatever. She'll deal with it. As far as I'm concerned, Speedy Gonzalez is a positive Mexican. Yeah, there. See, Imaginarium gets it. I like Speedy. But it's so funny. I could have, if I would have made an Asian, I'd be like, look at this guy, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon there. There'd have been an Asian dude standing. It didn't matter. I'm fated to always be putting my foot in my mouth. Now I'm getting accused of being a liar for my racisms. But it was fun. It's a good time. It's pretty busy there, too. I enjoyed it. She probably didn't understand me. It was just like, oh, well. Yeah, Slowpoke Rodriguez would have, what? But yeah, there it was. That was that. So, and then today, I had an old mower, a Cub Cadet. I bought it off a guy for like $500 2 years ago. Then last year, it just shit the bed. It wouldn't start. And the tire went flat on it, so I pushed it up against my house. It'd been sitting there all winter. So my old coworker, I was talking to him, I was like, anyone needs a mower, this piece of shit doesn't run. But if you have anyone with a truck, we'll get it up in the truck. So we backed the truck up in the yard on the hill, because I didn't have any ramps, and him and this other guy, and we got it up on the truck. And I told the it's sort of, he's not really my cousin, but he basically is this younger guy. He's probably like 25. I was like, man, it's probably a piece of shit, but you could at least take it to the scrap yard, Yeah, it's a riding lawnmower, yeah. Cub Cadet. And they called me like 2 hours later, and here it was just a loose wire. They reattached this wire. The damn thing's running fine. And so they were like, oh, we're sorry if you want us to bring us back or pay for it. I was like, you don't have to. I'm happy for you. I was just happy to have the damn thing out of the yard. So there you go. Basically my cousin I got the gift of getting this damn eyesore out of my yard. I don't know if it was the kill switch or not. They didn't tell me what the wire was. But I'm very happy it ran for them, because I assumed it was going to be an eyesore in that dude's yard. But isn't it funny? Like, things like that happen in life, right? Where I knew someone who got pissed once because his car blew up. He thought his car blew up. And like, he was bitching, he wanted it out of his yard. And some guy that we vaguely knew came and picked it up for like $150. And then the guy got it running for like $200. My buddy was all pissed off about it. I'm like, why are you pissed off? What, you would have only been happy if it continued to be a piece of shit for this guy? Like, what's the difference? You got rid of it? Good. That's what you wanted. There you go. Racism canceled out for the good deed. That's how I've always been about it. Once I'm getting rid of something, like if I sell a car, I hope the damn thing runs for 40 years. Like, good. I'm glad the people that got it got their money's worth. So hopefully that mower runs forever. What to talk about today? So tomorrow, I think, unless I'm screwing up, we have another episode of Law and Order. And I'll give you a little inside baseball, because I do talk to Ryan Mullally a little behind the scenes as well. And Ryan and myself basically have come to an agreement of what our central focus is going to be for the next 6 months, which is weird because Ryan and me agree on 90% of stuff, but I'm more extreme than Ryan. So it's like, what could this issue be? Now, take a guess, audience. What do you think the issue is? I'm in agreement with Ryan. It is that we are both going to hyper focus on us on this issue, and we think it's the most important issue in the country. And so going into the election, yeah, that's it. Gigi nails it right out of the gate. The Democrats have lost their mind. If the Supreme Court is packed, it is the end of our country. That's it. It will be some sort of civil war. And when I say that, I want to be clear. I don't necessarily mean people grabbing their muskets. I mean like a civil war in the sense that like states are going to be like, we're not going to agree with that. We're just not going to do that. And there's going to be all of this fighting, and there's going to be states that are threatening to secede. But I don't think it's going to be... I'm turning into Tim Pool. Ah! Oh, wait. No beanies here. It really is going to be that bad, though. It is not recoverable. If the Democrats pack the port, it is not recoverable. It's that simple. And fix my hat here. I could skateboard. I was pretty good at Tony Hawk 2. I think it was Tony Hawk 3. I don't know how I got off on this, but Tony Hawk 3. I remember I had this friend. He was like my friend's younger brother, but he was my friend too. And he was the best video game player I've ever seen in real life. Like, he was very good. And this was, maybe 2003, 2004 was when I was, would see him the most. So it was before, like, online gaming got real big, I guess, at least in my neck of the woods. And I remember him playing, it was Tony Hawk 3 or 4, online with people. And the mode they would play would be like, who could get your tricks would rack up points, so who could get the highest score at the end of like 2 minutes. And I would watch him play, and some of the people he'd play against too, and they would do one trick for like 30 minutes. So they just keep, you do a flip, and then you do a handstand, then you'd grind on the rail, and then it just keep going and going and going. And I was like, how is this even fun at this point? And of course, if you crash, you end up with 0 points because you didn't complete the trick. But that's it. That's the gist of what I know about skateboarding. Never really skateboarded. It's called a move. Tricks are for whores. The mode was called Trick Attack. Oh, snap! Not Move Attack. How about that, Alexander? But also, yes, he was a prostitute. So, just kidding. Yeah, I haven't played the skate game. Anyways, the issue is that important. And it's insane to see the Democrats becoming more and more... Well, it's not insane. You always knew it. Look, we'll talk about this more tomorrow with Law and Order, right? But basically, I've been telling people this for years on this channel. If there's one central thing that I hope that people get, it's this. These people on the left, and what I would call globalists, and let me take a second, because I saw someone say in the chat on one of my videos when I said globalist, they're like, Rob, don't you know who the globalists are? Jews. Now I'm good? Now I'm speaking the truth? No, that is not the only group that is globalist. When I say globalist, what I mean is many institutions that combine want an erosion of national borders and want sort of a one world government where they control. That'll get you there, Alexander. We'll play the Wolf Jazz here in a bit. That'll definitely get you there. Bastard. Anyways, these globalists, it's always the same. There's different levels of them. There's just the guy on the street that votes Democrat. And then there's the people that are like streamers or media people. And then there's the politicians. And then there's the donor class. You know. But the people that you deal with is this. They truly believe that they are morally superior than you. They really believe that. Here, I'll show you. Where did I see this? Probably my Man Cool Vic's show. Let me give you an example of someone who feels morally superior to you. Now, what there's a warning. I want to warn you. You're about to see some heavy artillery here. When you see these arms, you may get intimidated.
People here today think that the January 6th people who attacked police officers, by the way, who destruction of property, they're patriots. But if a black NFL football player takes a knee and peacefully protests, somehow they're sons of bitches. That's the way these people think. And I say these people because you're damn right. I put them all in a group of ignorant morons. That's who these people are. They're all ignorant morons. That's what they are. They are. They're ignorant morons. These people show up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning wearing their Trump paraphernalia gear, right? They show up at 6 in the morning. They've been here for 6 hours in 100. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're a patriot. Wearing in 105 degree weather, like that guy who just walked by, who's a complete utter imbecile, and they don't know the law. They don't know anything about the law. They don't know how the court system works. And I'm entitled to my opinion, and this is my opinion. I will not vote for Donald Trump. I don't want to see Joe Biden run for office either. Most of the country doesn't want to see Trump versus Biden. I'm one of them. I don't want to see Trump versus Biden. I want younger people in office.
Impressive, right? What an impressive specimen if you ever saw one.
He harasses women in messages, has a weird infatuation with men's organs. He's a syndicated radio host, and it's all about respect. He's Brian Shaprio.
Yes, Brian Shaprio. We know he's a goof. I can't help myself. Anywho. He is a goof and he's easy to beat up on, but he does represent so much of what that movement is. It is a absolute arrogant and certitude that they are morally superior to anyone that they disagree with politically. They think they're smarter than you. They think they're morally superior to you. Now, the way this works is as follows. They're going to escalate their tactics as they get more desperate. So much of what I've ended up predicting and being correct over and over and over again. I'm not right about everything, but basically the central theme that I go through is always understanding that these people are going to be willing to get more and more radical as they lose. Let me see. What's going on? What's this always? I gotta say, the YouTube Shorts, it always screws with me. I don't know why. So that's how I was able to put this video out. This was 8 months ago. Where do I find the exact date in this? I don't know. March 11th, 2025. Of Tesla buildings being attacked, people that drive Teslas having their cars vandalized. There's other stories of people that are suggesting on places like Reddit that Elon Musk and Donald Trump may need to be taken out. Make no mistake about it. I've said for years, all of the insane violence that we saw coming from the left, from places like Antifa, from way back when you saw them rioting at places like Berkeley to prevent people from going in to hear the terrible Ben Shapiro from speaking, riots that we saw on college campus, them locking Riley Gaines into a room, not letting her go out, other attacks that we saw all across this country during the Black Lives Matter, the Chaz Zone, all of this stuff. The irony was, all of this was occurring while the left had institutional power. And I said, if you think this violence is bad now, wait until they start losing those connections to institutional power. Now, they had direct connections in the sense that there were cultural connections, such as the people that were running things were advocating policies and at least paying lip service to the issues that these radical leftists wanted, such as Trans America, Black Lives Matter, etc. But now we're starting to find out that there are connections, possibly in the terms of financial connections, where we see NGOs that were possibly financing institutions that were leading to these sorts of people that then went on and engaged in different attacks. Oh, I forgot to mention those against pro-life centers. Remember, the FBI couldn't get to those because most of those attacks occurred in the evening. Remember, that's what Chris Wray, head of the FBI, said? I predict that as we see these NGOs start to collapse and the funding dries up and the cultural shift starts going the other way, that these groups will become more desperate. Initially, they won't understand that they can't get away with it with impunity like the majority of the Black Lives Matter riots, and there will actually be consequences if there's any justice in this world. So you're about to see what I would predict would be an uptick in violence that occurs from these left-wing groups. They feel morally righteous. They've been gaslit into believing their opponents are Nazis, and you're justified in doing whatever you want against Nazis. They become more brazen in non-violent attacks, such as going after J.D. Vance when he's walking with his daughter, and violent attacks in the form of vandalism and other things that we see, up to and possibly including things such as assassinations, which we've seen 2 attempts so far against Trump. So gird your loins, we're probably going to see more of these violent reactions from the left, and it'll all be smugly ignored, cheered on, or wink, wink, nudge, nudge from people in positional power in the establishment and on the left. Of course, that was before Charlie Kirk assassination. Their tactics will escalate as they continue to get more desperate and lose power. But this is always who they were. Always. And you can see it in everything they do. Like, why are they willing to all of a sudden give someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene a platform? Now, remember the Jewish space lasers? They hated her. But that was because she theoretically had power. She was in Congress. Now, she talks trash on Trump. So she's good. She could be the face. It's not a matter of extremeness. They'll do puff pieces on Candace Owens. They wouldn't care. They don't care. They escalate their attacks on you as you become more of a threat. If you're a nobody, if you're a guy on the street holding a sign, they'll laugh at you and be like, get a job. That's it. But as things increase in the cultural and political momentum going against them, they're going to get more and more desperate. Yes, that does mean more violence. But it also means more political tactics, more pushes to end the Electoral College, more pushes to gerrymander in certain states, more pushes to ignore the courts, change the courts, and pack the courts, and end the filibuster, and make D.C. a state, and make Puerto Rico a state. This was always the game. They have monopoly on power. Basically, you had a near uniparty, so they were fine. They were fine with that game. But now all of a sudden they see things like, oh shit, our NGOs are being shut off. They can't deal with that. In that video, I said at first they won't understand there's not consequences. The same's true of legally. The Democrats in Virginia are still shocked that the Democrat Supreme Court did not allow their blatantly illegal gerrymandering to go through. They're shocked. They can't believe it. So they're going to get more and more desperate. Now you see these people. See, there was utility in appearing to sound reasonable. Oh, please, we're the reasonable. We're the side of law and order. They never were. They just felt comfortable that they would win. And as soon as they lose, they're like, well, never mind. Don't forget, Democrat strategists were recommending if they lost in the 2020 election to put forth slates of alternate electors. And laughably, I want to tell you this. I will guarantee if the Democrats lose a close election in 2028, I'll guarantee you'll hear prominent Democrats suggest with a straight face alternate electors. With a straight face. After they said it was the biggest attack on the United States ever, and they'll be like, yeah, alternate electors. Never mind. Now it's necessary. It's necessary. GB News, sort of a British UK or whatever news outlet. This is Tom Hardwood, deputy political editor and presenter at GB News. By no means like a big right-wing dude. He says, those who voted for and supported the Online Safety Act won't have imagined it would lead to this. But that's because they misunderstood how seriously platforms take threats of billions of pounds fines or executive imprisonment. In any wavering case, they will always fall on the side of censorship. The risk of leaning on the side of free speech is too great. This is what regulators never understand about their rules. Market participants are overwhelmingly likely to overinterpret them because compliance costs are high. No one can afford to have a lawyer look at every single case, so the default becomes to block. I see this every day with how we respond to the election period broadcasting restrictions, but it's pervasive across the entire economy. It's a feature of regulation, not a bug. This part, those who voted for and supported the Online Safety Act won't have imagined that it would lead to this. Now, what's the this? Labor is using the Online Safety Act to silence political opponents, and TikTok's doing their work. First, TikTok removed my video announcing Reform UK's new policy to place secure illegal migrant detention centers in non-reform constituency, prioritizing green ones. TikTok explicitly cited the Online Safety Act as the reason for its removal. This is hard evidence that this draconian legislation being weaponized to silence political opponents. The same video had 6.2 million views on other platforms. Today, the censorship escalated. TikTok's now removed my video outlining the key policies I would implement as Homeland Security, claiming it's hate speech and hateful behavior. By the way, this is the Shadow Home Secretary of Reform. So this is one of the higher ups in Reform. So he's talking about their political positions, and it's being removed off social media because of the censorship laws that have passed in the United Kingdom. So the party that just won the election now has their leaders already being censored. TikTok removed the video outlining key policies, saying it was hate speech and hateful behavior. They warned me that any further violations will result in a strike, potentially leading to be deplatformed altogether. This is all the more staggering given TikTok happily hosts hundreds of videos of people calling for the assassination of Nigel Farage. My TikTok videos have received 18 million views over the previous 28 days. This is a chilling attempt to silence one of the biggest and fastest growing UK political accounts on the platform. TikTok is engaging in direct political interference in the midst of the most pivotal elections in our country's history, all under the auspice of the Online Safety Act that the Tories and Labour claim to be about protecting children. It is and will always be about silencing voices to the open borders political establishments don't like. Those who voted for, and supported the Online Safety Act wouldn't imagine it would lead to this. Not only did they imagine, they knew it would lead to this. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. They'll leave some nut job on there, even if they're saying nutty things against labor. That'll be allowed. But as soon as they think it's a message that'll get traction, in this case, reform talking about what they're going to do about immigration, that's hate speech. You can't use it. Sorry. That's the way it is in the Western world now. You can speak all you want until you're actually a threat to us. Now you can't speak. Nope. Can't do it. You can gerrymander as long as we can too. Oh, now the courts say we can't? Well, then fuck that. We're getting rid of the Virginia court. And we're going to pack the Supreme Court too. How about that? Go ahead, Charlie. You can go. You think you, Charlie Kirk, you think you're going to get momentum on college campuses where everyone's left-wingers? Go ahead. Oh, never mind. Too much power. I go back to this all the time. We talk about alternate electors and how horrible it was to the Biden administration and usurping their power. What was a greater stumbling block to an incoming administration? The alternate electors, which went nowhere and resulted in Biden being able to censor his opponents? Or Russiagate, where the FBI worked in coalition with Trump's opponents, including Obama and Hillary, in order to illegally spy on the campaign and stymie him for 4 years, which was a bigger stumbling block. But because Hillary Clinton said the words, "I concede," they were like, oh, that's good. That's all you have to do. That's the game. They always want to, we're so reasonable. Person after person. I used to say all the time, I was like, it's not that when Nancy Pelosi, back years ago, Nancy Pelosi would be fighting and arguing, and I would say all the time, it's not that they disagree. It's not that Pelosi and AOC disagree. It's just AOC's being honest about the extreme measures they want to take. And Nancy's like, shh. Now's not the time. Well, now is the time. Right now, because they have this absurd system in California, The two top candidates going into the general election face off against each other for governor. Right now, the two top polling are Republicans. So it's entirely possible that the general election governor selection is Republican versus Republican with no Democrats on the ballot because of the rules that Democrats put in place in California to perpetually ensure they have power in California. And now it might bite them in the ass. So what's the party of, norms and, Trump's a threat to norms? What do they have to say about it? Here's Gavin Newsom yesterday or today being asked about it.
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot. Look, I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. And there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out. And we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
You see, well, don't worry. We got something in our back pocket. If the election doesn't go the way we want, we have a scenario to make sure the Democrats still win. And every Democrat, moderate to extreme in the country is like, yes, of course, we have to do it because our opponents are a threat to democracy. So we have to do that. They shouldn't be allowed to vote. Even people I've dealt with that push back against the more extreme things. Friend of the show, Pisco, I'm sorry. To his credit, it always pushed back about the idea of court packing. Can't do it. It's too dangerous. We can't pack the Supreme Court. He knows the consequences. He knows what it means. Now here's Pisco's position as of last night. Is it still too extreme to pack the court? What do you think? Is Pisco going to say, yep, it's still too extreme to pack the court? What do you think? You think he says it's still too extreme? No? He's going to say it's no longer too extreme? Oh, it's better than that.
If we undid the norm violations in recent memory, or we oscillate back and forth. The worst possibility, the worst outcome is we just let that continue and persist without any oscillation or neutral response. That's the worst of all possible worlds, which we're living in. And people are like, oh, you're going to destroy the legitimacy of the court. Have you looked at the polling for people's confidence in the court? It's the lowest it's ever been. So how can you make an argument that this will be the thing that kills it? The American people don't have the confidence of the Supreme Court anymore. And when you accept all these propositions, when you accept the truth I'm telling you right now, it leads you to the ultimate conclusion.
So he's going to say, unfortunately, we have to pack the court, right? That's what he's going to say? That's the ultimate conclusion? After all, the polling shows that there's low confidence in the court. Thanks to people like Pisco and people in all of our mainstream media. Right? So we don't like some of the things that have happened, and the polling's low in the court. And so once you accept that, you ready? You ready for this? It's better than you think. This claim coming up is funnier than you think. You ready?
And the ultimate conclusion is, it's not radical to expand the court. It's radical to keep it the way it is.
Oh, shit. Whoo! Yes. The radical position is not packing the court. That's the radical position. Now, here's a guy for years that was against packing the court. All it took was a couple of court defeats. The same people that told us about the sanctity of the court and the need to respect court decisions. As soon as they get a couple decisions they don't like, the radical thing to do is not pack the court. That's radical. Okay, then let's leave Trump pack it, right? It would be radical for Trump to not pack the court. After all, polling's low in the court, so let's do something that makes sense, right? We'll finish it up here.
That's what's radical. That's what's extreme. That's the worst of all possible worlds. And that's the tenor by which you enter the conversation.
All of the bullshit, all those people you heard about, there's almost none, there's some left, I'm assuming, but almost no one on the left, it's at least in the commentary class. None of them ever believed any of the norms and we have to respect they didn't give a shit. They don't believe any of it at all. It's always just been power to them. And they assumed they could win through the normal means. And once they can't win through the normal means, they say, okay, then we'll reciprocate or we'll do this. Look, if the answer was, well, we're going to gerrymander because you're gerrymandering, I accept that. If the answer is the state of Utah added 2 new justices, so Virginia's going to add more justices. Okay, maybe not good, but I understand it. But now it's packed the Supreme Court. They're all saying it. Kamala Harris is saying it. Hakeem Jeffries is saying it. Ro Khanna's saying it. That's what they're going to do. That's the plan. They're telling you. Now, these are the people, by the way, that'll flip out when I do a video that says, I'm a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. The video I did was after the Charlie Kirk assassination, where we were talking about the FCC chairman, Brandon Carr, and things he said about Jimmy Kimmel, and I wasn't a big fan of. And what I said was, but I'm done talking about it. And I know that makes me a hypocrite, but I'm tired of constantly going with these narratives that we see from them. But these people are above hypocrisy, right? They'll tell you for years the sanctity of the court, this, that, and the other. If Trump would have packed the court in his first term, this dude would have been on there and been like, this is the fucking most authoritarian, craziest shit I've ever seen. This man is a fascist. He needs to be removed immediately. But now it's his position. It's perfectly right. It's extreme. It's radical to not pack the court. That's what we're up against. There will be no limiting factor. It is pure power. If, like, for example, we can't be clearing up voter rolls. We can't have voter ID. We can't do that. We can't end USAID. Cancer victims will die. They have to be allowed to keep all of the institutional advantages they've had. Let's say Trump does a census. Okay? And that census, we find out 2 years after Trump accidentally overcounted Republican states and garnered Republicans like 4 or 6 more seats. You think Democrats would say, shucks, well, we have to wait for 10 years? Or would they say, no, we're going to find a way to make sure that doesn't count now? This is the issue of our day. Nothing else comes close. They are telling you, we are going to rig it so we could never lose again. And the reason, in my opinion, is because there's some targets that are hitting home. The Somali fraud stuff, the USAID stuff, the investigation into the Southern Poverty Law Center, the investigation into Act Blue. Uh-oh! Their policies aren't popular. They've enjoyed incredible advantages in places like the Northeast with gerrymandering. Maybe, maybe not. They can't accept The other side doing it. So that's going to be what my central focus is going to be on for until November. That's it. That's who we're up against. Pack all the courts, make D.C. a state, make Puerto Rico a state, make it so Democrats can't lose. Just like in the United Kingdom, pass a law. It's just to protect the children. Online safety of speech. It's just to protect the children. That's all it's for. And now we're going to throw you in jail and ban you for criticizing us. We'll explain more tomorrow, but it shouldn't have to. If the Democrats would win the House, Senate, and then the presidency in 2028 and decide to pack the court, the entire Constitution no longer applies. Literally, they could do whatever they want. We interpret the Second Amendment to mean that you only have the right to a musket. What are you going to do? How do you stop it? They'll just add justices until they say, yep, First Amendment doesn't apply to your right to spread disinformation online. My channel gets shut down because the government in power says, yep, Rob's disinformation. They'll be able to cancel elections if they want. Why not? The court will just roll it. So, yep. Trump did so much damage, it's going to take more than 4 years. They'll keep their opponents off of the ballot. They'll have the courts to be able to do it. You already see what the judges do at the lower courts with Trump. This is who they've always been. And they're going to run with it. And then, here's the next step. Once it turns out that this isn't a popular message, they're going to do what James Carville did. Carville said, do it, don't run on it. So you'll see all the voices will say, oh, no, that's not what we're going to do. Just like Spanberger in Virginia. No, if I'm elected, we wouldn't redraw the maps. And then gets elected and say, yeah, fuck you, we're redrawing the maps. So what? What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So, now let's read Super Chats. First off, we're doing very good with Super Chats, but that's just because a couple of people have donated. So the rest of you, what the hell are you doing? Jabroni big time, $5. Says, good evening, all of you plop stinkies. What's up, man? Thank you. Odorant Demutant for $10 says, excuse me, I'm yinsing now, or something, I don't know. Hey, Rob, have a good show. I will, thank you. Alexander, $200 says, how much is Wolf Jazz? Listen, I know we save the shit whip songs till the end, but for $200, I'll play your shitbag song. This is the absolute worst song. The absolute worst one. And I apologize for it. But for $200, I'll play it real quick. Here you go, you psycho.
Whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says, nay, 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 we're gonna march all day. All day, all day, where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, 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 oh. back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march you day and night and more. For we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war.
All right, that's it. No more whip songs to the end of this. There you I hope you're happy, Alexander. Thank you for the dono. I hate that song. And then GG $5 says preemptive packing, bad idea. What if GOP pushes law to keep sodas at 9? If Dems vote no, then attack that position to make it more forefront on in 26, 28. I think it's a great idea. I actually saw someone say today, Trump should simultaneously call for a law to keep the court at 9 and put forth 4 new candidates. He should do both at the same time. And then when Democrats vote against it, go, okay, then they're for me putting 4 more in the court. No problem. Just call their bluff. Like, that's it. That's... Now we're not interrupting the monologue. Jacob Foreman, $20 says, what the heck was that? Yeah, I apologize. It's just, these people are stupid with this whip song stuff. And then our good man Lavin, the absolute legend that he is, $200 for the gold, ending the whip song. That's it. The whip songs are now ended tonight, unless someone donates $200 more. But we don't have to worry about that until the end of the show anyways. So there you have it, the left-wing hacks. Meanwhile, I think this is the clip I'm looking for. Meanwhile, just to let you go further, is it just me, or is the entire left-wing like space online just getting scummier and scummier? Just scummier and scummier. You got the whole, I don't even follow it. I don't follow it really. I just see, like, it's funny. I'll sit here and be like, here's why Nick Fuentes is wrong. Or here's why Ben Shapiro's wrong. And I know Nick and Ben will go at each other and Candace and all that shit. But it sort of pales in comparison to what you see on the left. Really. So there's the Ethan Klein, and he's suing the, I don't know, these people or that people, and that's going on. And then the Destiny Orbiters. And now, if you remember, my thing always, going back to the beginning, with all of these Destiny accusations, I don't much give a shit. I really don't. Most of these people I debate online, I debate their ideas. Very rarely am I diving into, like, whether or not they're good people. They're probably shitty people. Most of us online are shitty people. And I think the left tends to have more shitty people. So my default is probably shitty. I treat people as if that's not the case. But if I had to be pressed, like before I knew much about Vosh, I'd be like, Vosh probably a shitty person. Destiny probably a shitty person. Like, I don't know. And again, that's not necessarily true. But that's the default I have. But it's just really amazing. It's a lesson in, like, abject power. It's just so funny to me. And since it's Sunday and we dick around a little on the weekends here, I thought I'd talk about this just a little. Allegation against Destiny. Let's just be as brief as possible with this. Destiny was accused, I mean, what at this point it was like not this January, but the previous January, something like that. He was accused of hooking up with some people and then sending videos of that to basically an OnlyFans person who then claimed to have gotten hacked and the videos got released online. Okay? Some of those people weren't too happy. So there's this one woman who went by the name Pixie who basically knew that she had been recorded but did not give permission for Destiny to send those recordings, in her estimate, allegedly, to another person. So she's pissed off because as a result of Destiny sending this to a third party that she had not agreed upon, now her image is out there in sexually compromising positions. Right? Then another person named Cherry came up and said, Destiny, I've been sent audio recordings of me with Destiny. Now, here's the thing. I said at the time, and I'll just rehash this real quick. Is that a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. It's not. It's bad on a fucking litany of levels. First off, you should never record yourself, allow yourself to be recorded in a sexual situation. Even if it's like husband and wife, it's a very bad idea because if anything happens in that relationship, now here's this person that maybe's got some animosity against you that has you in some compromising images. That's probably not a good thing. Right? That's number one. Number two, sending that shit to someone else is really bad. For the reason I just said, and because it's theoretically without the consent of the person you're with. There's an added on allegation of their underage, I don't know, like that possibly 17, I don't know. Or you could get hacked by someone. Yeah, imagine if I was doing that. Coach Mim would have had all of my dirty pictures. That bastard Coach Mim. So I sort of feel bad for the alleged victim in this position, but I also said we don't know the full story, and I still don't know the full story. The key portion of Destiny's defense is she did this to me. She also had these films and sent them to other people, and I just thought, oh, groovy. That's just no problem then, right? You could send them to people, I could send them. It was like an implied consent. I figure if you're sending them to people, I'm sending them to people. The truth is, like with so much of this shit, no one wants to say this. Everybody just wants to look at the person and based on who that person is, say how bad the situation is. My question is, how bad is this really? Doesn't rise to the level of sexually assaulting someone, in my estimation. It's not good, but is it earth-shattering bad? I mean, basically what I get out of this is a bunch of fucking degenerate people are degenerate. Yeah, I could have guessed. Now, if the allegations about the 17-year-old thing, I don't know. I just didn't give a fuck. However, I did take a little interest. Because the part that I found amusing was the orbiters. And this is where it's not even really a story of destiny to me. There's this thing I find fascinating, even with my own audience. So much of life, for me at least, and maybe for you all too, but it's sort of, I'm getting a little meta based on what I'm about to talk about. I just don't know. I think that my default is too much assuming the world is as it is through my eyes. In rural Pennsylvania my entire life. In a place where you don't lock your car. And if shit comes up, your neighbor's got your back. And even people you don't particularly like around the town, they got your back. And no one has that much money, so you made a bunch of friends and you do cheap friend shit. Like, you know, let's get some firewood and hang out outside and get a case of cheap beer. and you go to a bar and your buddy gets in a fight, and even if your buddy's wrong, you got your buddy's back. That's how I view life. And that you could disagree with people on politics, but ultimately they're good people that want good things. You're just having a disagreement. And I had to learn in the online space, that's not how it is. Sometimes that person you're debating, once you fucking censored, once you kicked off, once your life ruined. And it was weird. Like, I talked to Andrew Wilson about this years ago. When he first told me, he's like, you know, you're blacklisted from a lot of these people that have debate shows on the left. I was like, why? I was like, that's not true. He's like, yeah, it is. I know it is. I've had people tell me. And I couldn't fathom that. I'm like, but why? I'm just a guy who does this home healthcare job. And then when I have free time in the evening, I'm hopping on and I'm debating people. Because it's fun. And I'm just saying what I believe, and that's that. I didn't realize. See you, GG. Thanks. So for me, it's like, I constantly, like, with my audience, I'm like, man, I hope people have the life experience I do. I hope that you have a lot of friends in real life. And if not, you know, I know that sucks, man. I know it does. And the very nature of being someone who streams online, there are people that have like parasocial relationships and shit, and it could get weird. Not banning Lavin. So, for me, one of the things I thought was interesting when this Destiny story broke, I interacted with a lot of Destiny's orbiters, like Pisco, like, you know, the Live and Learn people, Wick, Erudite. And it was fascinating drama. Now, the allegations are serious. But it's not that serious. And I'm sorry, you all could disagree with me. If he had pictures of a girl that was like 17 and, you know, 11 months or whatever, that's not good. That's bad. Let the chips fall where it may. Him sending a shit, that's bad. It's not as bad as assaulting someone or something like that, but fine, whatever. It's fascinating to me, though, to watch these orbiters because it's a tale as old as time. I think Lavin said it earlier. This was my take on Destiny. Part of me feels bad for him because I don't know how many real friends he has. I just don't. I have no clue. Everybody looks at him as a potential, well, what can you do for me? And it was so funny watching this go, watching each orbiter make a decision. Oh boy. Ugh. Does it hurt me more to stay with him? Does that hurt my image more? Or does it hurt me more to leave and maybe not be on this? No, I'm not doing call-ins today. No. He's a degenerate. He doesn't care about friends. Maybe so. And so watching each of these individual people and how they went, some of them, like Pisco had a show with them. I feel bad for Pisco because I think Pisco was really on the upswing. He was interviewing people that were running to be the head of the DNC because Destiny was doing the show with him. And then all of a sudden, Pisco's like, okay, I can't do the show. I hope it comes clear. I just talked shit on Pisco and what a slimy fucking worm he is for this whole pack the court shit. But as far as I'm concerned, Pisco sort of held to his word. He said, I didn't know about these allegations. When I found out, I parted ways. Has he done a stream or two with Destiny since? Yeah, but ultimately I don't think he's... In fact, he's probably fought with Destiny more since then than he's buddied up to him. When I break it down, how many friends would I say I really have? Like really deep, close friends, like probably like 12. And then I also have my family. But then I have an extended network of like probably 50 or 60 that I wouldn't call really close friends, but they're dudes that I could call and hang out with. And if I like, can't borrow your mower and shit like that. But I probably have close to 12 friends that would be like, yeah, 13. I probably have like close to 12 friends that like I'd trust with my life pretty much. So anyways, back to this. Some people I thought were funny though. Erudite. Erudite. I had a whole X thread on this I could bring up. I'm not going to. But with Erudite, it was like she was like accused of being basically Ghislaine Maxwell. Of like going to Pixie and be like, well, here, Destiny has a financial offer for you to kind of make this go away. And then once that came out, that's what was alleged. That's what people were saying. I don't know that that happened, by the way. But once it came out, Erudite was like, I'm going to take a step back from working with Destiny. And she did this show. It was called Bridges with Destiny. So I asked her, and this, like, people don't think of it like, everybody's just like, fuck, Destiny's evil. But if you really think of it like you're, like, investigating it, like, I had some questions. When did you first hear of these allegations, Erudite? Because if you heard of them, because allegedly these allegations were out there for months before Pixie came forward. So if you heard of these allegations and continued to work with Destiny, did you bring him up? Did you ask him? She says, the reason ultimately then I decided to keep working with Destiny was when I asked him, he seemed to be apologetic and a changed man. Well, the entire time, Destiny's sort of been like, fuck you to this chick. Now, maybe he has every right to be. I don't know. So that was a little suspicious. But the point I had was, but wait a minute, Erudite, did you ask him about other alleged victims or possible victims? Because there are multiple people that Destiny was having sexual relations with that got leaked online. And presumably, if he didn't ask Pixie for consent to send these pictures, probably a good question asked, did you ask these other folks? Or are there potential issues coming up with that? Erudite never answered any of those questions. Then there's Dan Saltman. So they brought me on some panel. They thought to talk shit on Destiny, I think. And that Dan guy was there, and to this day, that Dan guy might be a total fuckhead. I know next to nothing about him. But as far as I know, he's the only one that was like, fuck it, I got my friends back. And I sort of respect that. Because it seems to me what all the other ones were doing was literally weighing the pros and cons. Ooh, well, you know, how will this help my career? How will it hurt it? And so to have someone be like, the two positions that I think would be reasonable is, once I heard this happen, fuck this guy, I want nothing to do with them because I take this very seriously. Fair enough. Or, hey, I don't like this, but he's my buddy. I'm going to stand with. What's not to me acceptable is, well, let me feel it out and see what it could do for my career. That's bullshit. The people that are making excuses and this, that, and the other. And so I had to run at counterpoints over it. And that to me is what I find the funniest thing. All these people that want to feign like, well, we care about protecting women and this, that, and the other. And we find doxing to be the most heinous thing. So a right-winger that I've interacted with before, that I sort of like Jeb Tan, he's posting today, he's like, hey, Wick, what's up with this? Like in your Discord, I was asking in your Discord if there's a known doxer here who's doxing women, Are they allowed to stay? Is that against your, a bannable offense in your Discord? He claims Wick said no. I don't know if that's true or not, but it is kind of funny because that's Wick. Here's the deal with Wick. I'm going to call it straight up, right? Wick isn't going to make it on his own. That's not to say that he ain't going to have any audience, but largely Wick is, he's having Destiny on. Oh, he's having these people on. He was paid by Progressive Victory. They were trying to throw him good debaters and good guests and stuff. Wick needs to attach his ship to Destiny. He'll push back here and there, but ultimately, he's going to defend Destiny. So yeah, all through my timeline here the past day or two, I saw Wick, Queemon doxed and Chud Logic doxed. Maybe they did. Fuck those guys. I don't know. I don't know shit about it. What about your boy, though? What about your boy Destiny? Did he dox? Just funny to watch the clinger. But the absolute best of all of this, and it's actually someone who I enjoyed talking to in the past, but it's so fucking funny, is a streamer by the name of Stardust. Now, I don't know how much you all know about Stardust, but she, I jumped on a panel or two with her before. Not the best debater in the world, but I don't have many negative conversation or interactions with her. Just, if I'm being honest, someone that from time to time would try to jump on a debate panel or something, wasn't very good at it. So Stardust apparently is like, sort of a feminist and speaking up and shit. And I saw this clip and I just because Stardust is like sort of attacking the people that are attacking Destiny. So it's like, are you going to call out Destiny? Well, probably not. Because probably Stardust wants to stay in Destiny's good graces. So this clip, this is an all-timer, if it's the clip I think it is. So here's Stardust, and she's going to explain why even though these allegations against Destiny, sending out videos like this without consent, at first she was really against it, maybe she's lightened up a little. So, I mean, here we go.
No, it's a pattern of behavior for sure that I think was irresponsible. And again, when all of that stuff exploded, I took a pretty firm stance that I thought it was, that's not something you do to a friend, right? And I think that's something even he would admit, that's not something that you do to a friend. But this whole situation is very complex and stuff, But yeah, I mean, it's hard to, I guess, explain my stance on this whole thing, I guess, if that makes sense, But I think
I could explain it. I think I could explain it. She wants to continue to be in Destiny's good graces. And
it's so weird that, and people in this space were trying to call me a sweeper for him when I think I took a pretty strong stance against him sharing those images, right? And I think even he has admitted that, it was irresponsible to talk to somebody he barely knew. But I also can acknowledge that he's a victim as well of having all that stuff leaked. I can also acknowledge that, again, most men in his position are not very different from him. And most men with less influence than he has are equally boomers, and I don't believe when men grandstand about sharing pictures and stuff. I don't believe a single one of these dudes. Okay, any of these content creators who are like, "Oh, I'd never share nudes with my friends." Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I've never shared nudes with my friends. Ever, 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 ever. I have never recorded myself in any sexual situation with a person. I've never shared any material like that, which doesn't exist anyways. Where is this fucking all of a sudden? Well, you know what it is, actually? Just basically all men do that. Yeah, unless Coach Mim got me, yeah. I mean, are we fucking serious now? Now, may it be true that a lot of the people that are grandstanding right now, I've seen a dude show me like a picture of like a chick in a bikini, be like, oh, this is a chick I'm going out with this weekend. I'm not impressed. But I've never had a friend show me any sort of video or picture of them having sex with someone. And I have a lot of friends. Never saw it once. None. Again, I take the general theme that there's a lot of people that grandstand on shit, and then it turns out they're degenerates too. Maybe so. Maybe what she means to say is in left-wing spaces, in these left-wing online spaces, I don't believe anyone. But it's just, I mean, the hoops that people will jump through. It's just, it's surreal. Destiny did not put his video up of himself blowing a guy. Destiny sent that video to someone else, and then it got leaked from them. But yes, that's true. That did happen. No, media vagrant, you will not get any nudes of me, and they will not make their hands into Brian Shapiro. All of these people, right? So many of them, and I learned that, I've told this story about when I was in debate. So many of these people that speak up about like, women and men that abuse women, they're the fucking worst. Even the women. I've told this story. I was in debate and heard a bunch of the coaches and shit saying that they were aware that one of the powerful coaches was assaulting a girl on his team. And I was like, it's just a rumor. And they were like, no, we've seen the proof. We've seen like video. And I was like, why didn't you call the police? Well, he's a powerful guy. And I told them all to fuck off and stormed out of the room. Fuck you. You'll never hear me claiming to be some champion of women or some shit like that. But my goodness, these people, that's the question I asked Brian Shapiro there in his debate with Rachel. That's exactly what my question was about. There are these male feminists or men that have like women's talking points. And oftentimes they're doing it to get close to women, to take advantage of them. Given the terrible shit that Brian said in DMs to people like Rachel, how do we know he's not one of those people? I would have no problem if the argument was, I don't know, it sucked, but I never thought it was that bad. But is there any chance in the world if this was one of Destiny's ops, if this was fucking Hassan, you think that these people would have the same? Well, men do that. Of course not. Then it would be, fuck him. What a womanizing piece of shit. I'm so fucking boring though. That's the last thing about it. I'm just so boring and I'm happy for it. From the bottom of my heart, I don't know what to say other than I said it the other day when I was debating porn. I'm not happy about this, but I've watched pornography. That's it. I've never cheated on my wife. I wasn't very sexually promiscuous before I met my wife. When it comes to that sort of trauma stuff, no. Who's to say? 20 years from now, I'm president of the United States and I'm accused of cheating on my wife with some supermodel, you know, and you're watching this video from 20 years in the future, like, what a fuck. You know what the worst part is? It's the hypocrisy. Well, I thought it was the cheating, in the words of Norm Macdonald, you know. But I don't know. It's just sad that, like, how much of this fucking... you really do start to feel like it's just a bunch of fucking scumbags. Anyways, it was Sunday, so I thought we'd fuck around with that a little. I will say, as far as the other side goes, I've mentioned this. You know, you always hear these rumors that a lot of these Republican events, all of a sudden Tinder and Grindr are like through the roof. And I've heard people personally tell me stories of like, oh, you go to this Republican event and everybody's doing drugs and banging each other and stuff. I don't find it remotely amusing. I don't. At all. I really don't. I have zero interest. I don't mind having a beer. I had a good time having a beer with like Gavin McInnes at Word War. Thought that was a lot of fun. Sam Tripoli. A lot of fun. But I have no interest to go like, you know, some crazy out of hand party like that. That's not my thing. And it never was. Even when I was a crazy drinker and I dabble in like a drug or so, I wasn't ever like, oh, let's try to hook up with a bunch of chicks and shit. It just wasn't me. You know? And if people are going to do that, it's not something I'm into and I don't like it. But as long as you're consenting adults and stuff, whatever. I just don't want to know about it. I'll go about my way. But if you're, you know, if you're a big feminist dude and you protect women, or you're some right-wing guy that's like, oh, you know, infidelity's bad, and you're doing that shit, it's like, what a loser. All right, super chats. Crisco, $10 says, hey, Rob, it's a little thing called respect, Rob. It's a little thing called respect. I have dinners with Michael Knowles and Jack Posobiec, Rob, because they respect me. Respect. Yeah, we covered that in the show Friday. Turns out Michael Knowles, maybe he doesn't respect Brian Shaffrey. I know, that's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, well, it's 11 o'clock, and you know what that means. It's time for the premiere Black female outlet online for Black female voices. The Normal America Show is going to present I'm Speaking Now. First, we'll play the intro song. Now, remember, if you like this segment, remember to get your super chats in. Much like all good groups that claim to speak up for Black issues like Black Lives Matter and elsewhere, I promise you to keep all of this money myself. That is my solemn promise to you, that this will not go to causes. Now, I may purchase some new books. I do have an addiction now, purchasing these books, but I promise to keep all the money. So make sure you get it in. Let's do it. Let's get ready. I'm speaking now.
I'm speaking now. Yeah. I'm speaking now. Long line, same stop, bus late, clock don't stop. Got work, got plans. Still wear last in their hands. Side eye from the man in the tie, clutches his briefcase, moves to the side. He don't see the weight on my spine, he just sees a story from a lie. I'm speaking now. Everybody hush and listen. I'm speaking now. You gon' hear what you've been missing. Every door, it kept locked, we kicking down. I carried all this hurt for ages. You gon' sit and hear these pages. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Hair shop, Sunday, hands in, scalp spray, hot comb, history passed down quietly. Boss says too big for the floor. Cold words, I've heard them before. You don't say less than out loud. You just build a rule to keep us out. I'm speaking now. Everybody hush and listen now. I'm speaking now. You gon' hear what you've been missing. Yeah. Every door, you kept locked, we kicking down. I carried all this hurt for ages. You gon' sit and hear these pages. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. You drew lines in red on our blocks, turned our schools into afterthoughts. Underpay us, then say try harder. Blame the seed while you poison water. You make fear our daily weather, then ask why we carry shelter. From the bus stop to the boardroom, we feel your hand in every room. Every room, every room, every room, every room, every room, every room. Groceries, self-check. Guard eyes on my neck. Lady clutches her purse so tight, as if my hands ain't full of rice. Doctor's office, pain too real. She writes dramatic on the field. You talk the world, we can take more. Then use that myth to close the door. I'm speaking now. Everybody hush and listen. I'm speaking now. You gon' hear what you've been missing. Every door, you kept locked, we kicking down. I carried all this hurt for ages. We gon' sit and hear these pages. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. I'm speaking now. Oh, 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 oh. Pass the mic, pass the mic, pass the mic, pass the mic, pass the mic. One by one, we're calling out different names. Same fight, we still here, we still fight. Lean in, hear how truth sounds. Turn it up, don't turn us down. I'm speaking now. I'm speaking now. I'm speaking now.
I was pretending to be muted. I tricked you. You're all tricked. Aha! Aren't you fools? You shitheads. God damn it! All right. Anyways, what I was saying. Book chapter 58. Last week was a bit of a dud. It was, I thought it was like the black lady author. She kind of seemed like she sucked, but she was talking about her mom, who seemed based as shit. I thought it was pretty good. That black grandma, she knew what was up. So I don't read these. I just read some couple words and then I'm like, oh, this looks like a good one. So we're going to try chapter 58 today. Don't worry, I have all my visual aids here. We're ready to go. Now, please, reminder, get your super chats in so that we can show how much we respect the powerful black voices that we're going to hear today. Powerful female black voices. The hand-me-down blues. As always, it starts with a little quote. It says, "One is a mother in order to understand the inexplicable. One is a mother to lighten the darkness." And that, of course, from Mariama Ba, of course. Today's reading comes from Charisse Kimbrough. Now, who is Charisse Kimbrough? Well, I'm glad you asked. Charisse Kimbrough is a writer, mother, and lawyer who lives in Evanston, Illinois. She's the author of Beyond the Broken, and her work is featured in We Got This, Solo Mom Stories of Grit, Heart, and Humor. Oh, shit! I might have to buy that one next. That sounds like a win. Charisse earned her BA in English, her MA in Sociology from Stanford University, and a law degree from the University of Michigan. There you have it. Charisse Kimbrough. Shall we begin? The summer of 2020 was remarkable in many ways, including an increase in support for the Black Lives Matter movement. I suppose it was. Patrice McCullers or whatever, it was a big year for her. BLM racked in lots of dollars. You got that. My younger son and I decided to attend one of the protests planned in response to the horrific murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless others at the hands of the police. What about COVID? Weren't you locked down because of COVID? Oh, yeah. Get out there. Get out there. That's the real problem. Those horrific murders. Not the, hundreds upon hundreds of black on black murder. Anyways, I need a t-shirt, her son told her. Understandably, he wanted suitable attire. Something that expressed his anger and frustration. He wanted people to know what he felt and where he stood just by people looking at him. that's so, all right, no comment. I was going to say, yeah, a lot of people in the black community, you can tell where they stand just by looking at their attire. So, okie dokie, continuing. In typical teenage boy fashion, cool, man, take your teenage son during COVID to a BLM rally. This request was made only days before the event. We immediately searched and found a black-owned company that offered a t-shirt with the message he wanted. And equally important, all proceeds supported the Black Lives Matter movement. And Patrice Culler's fucking mansion and in-ground swimming pool. Good work. Unfortunately, the shirt would not arrive for the time for the demonstration. My son was disappointed. Not like here. If you order a shirt from me, from robnoerr.shop, it'll get there in a timely manner. Yes. Anyways, son's disappointed. Shirt's not coming. As we searched for another shirt to wear, I remembered that I purchased one for my older son when Eric Garner, another unarmed black man, died by the hands of police. Terrible. Eric Garner was selling Lucy's, you remember? That was 6 years earlier. The shirt bore the 3 words that Eric Garner whispered in his final moments, the same words as George Floyd when a policeman had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck. I can't breathe. Powerful, powerful stuff. I thought it would be perfect for my younger son if I could find it. I started looking through the bins where I kept the hand-me-downs, as I've done countless times before for other items. Digging through the pile was always a walk down memory lane, as I recalled when one item or another was worn or purchased. I remember when I bought the shirt, my older son's frustration and despair at the death of Eric Garner. I remember I could not offer him any real words of consolation. Not for Eric Garner, not for Trayvon Martin, not for Tamir Rice, or any of the other murdered black people killed by those sworn to protect him. Terrible. Thousands upon thousands every day of black people killed by the police. Notably, might I add, the most peaceful people in the world commit no crime, and the police are just target. It's brutal. It's terrible. He wanted a t-shirt too. He wanted some outward expression of the inward confusion and pain he was experiencing, the realization that he was considered expendable and a threat, not a teenage boy. Yeah, that's it. That's what's going on. Must be. It's not the, insane amount of violence in the communities. The fact that the same t-shirt with the same message was still relevant 6 years later filled me with overwhelming sadness until I stopped digging and started weeping in the bin of clothes. In her defense, I too have weeped in a bin of clothes. But only once I realized I was up to 3X because I'm a fat fuck. But the thought of everything that happened and everything that had not happened in the 6 years since I bought that shirt. 6 years of watching videos of unarmed black men and women die at the hands of the police. 6 years of mothers losing their sons and daughters, children losing fathers and mothers, communities being robbed of the unknown promise and the potential of so many futures. Yeah, like George Floyd. Who knows how many pregnant women could have had the pleasure of having guns pointed at them? Who knows? Six plus over 400 years of fear and frustration. I can't breathe. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. Now said by every black perpetrator that gets arrested in an attempt to flee the scene. The words on the t-shirt were the same ones Eric Garner whispered in New York. We had marched before, we protested before, we stood against police tyranny before. 6 years later, we are still dying. When would it end? Never! It'll never end for two reasons. One, in a country with hundreds of millions of people, inevitably there'll be violent police interactions, and sometimes the police will be wrong. And if you take that as an excuse to go riot and be a perpetual victim, you'll always have a reason. Every race, every biological sex, every religion. In a country with this many people, everyone will eventually be able to claim that someone in their perceived tribe was mistreated by police and could use this as an excuse to burn down their own communities. So that's your first answer. The second is it's going to be disproportional for black communities because the disproportionate violence in black communities, what makes it even more likely that then blacks have violent altercations with police. And people like you, ma'am, writing this, make that all the more likely by hyperbolically claiming that this is somehow emblematic of black people being treated as less than human by police that's afraid to even interact with them. But don't worry, since the summer of love and all that shit, we see black homicide rates have increased in many black cities as police no longer want to deal with it. My younger son only had a vague recollection of the murder of Eric Garner, but we will never forget George Floyd. I bet you won't. No matter how much we may want to erase the horrific image of his face smashed against the blacktop and the smirk on the face of the police officer. It was a bad fentanyl overdose, that's for sure. He'll never forget watching him die in that video, and neither will I. Neither will any of us. I still don't have many words of comfort or consolation. I just hope this time will be different. Hope this time the words turned to action will lead to lasting change. I hope the senseless killing of black men and women at the hands of police will cease. I hope we'll dismantle systemic racism once and for all. Bad news, lady. Systemic racism alive and going. Though we did try to end DEI, we're trying. Vote Republican. End it, right? I hope that my sons will eventually feel safe in their own country and their own skin. Tell other black people to stop shooting them then. I hope that one day black lives will finally, fully, and completely matter. They do, except majoritarily to the other black people that rob and kill them. Most of all, I hope that in another 6 years, I'll not be searching for that t-shirt because we still can't breathe. Well, guess what? We're 6 years on. By the way, the end. We're 6 years on, and I have a feeling you will be reaching for that t-shirt. Something, Supreme Court not allowing us to racially gerrymander anymore means black people can't breathe? Might we see riots in the street again this summer? Who knows? Of course, let's give you just a bit of some pictures to go along. There we go. The Koch brothers think they need to send billions of dollars to get folks like one of these people. It's got to hurt their feelings a little bit. And look, I know I've raised a lot of money too, but in all fairness, my middle name is Hussein. What's their excuse? Tell them, Barack Hussein Obama. You got it. You got it. But let's not leave out his lovely wife. Let's not leave her out. She says, Barack and I were raised with many of the same values. Like you, work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond. That you want people, that you do what you want people, that you do what you say you're going to do. That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them, and even if you don't agree with them. Thank you, Obamas. Great, just great people. Amazing. What a great selection tonight. Absolutely amazing. Powerful black female words. Powerful. My goodness. I'm at a loss for words. That's the sort of powerful messaging we need. Joseph Romano gives $5 and says, blessings and blessings upon you, my friend. Thank you. Wrongfully, what's up, my man? $5 says, I sent you a message on Discord. I guess you don't use it. How could I DM you? When did you send me a message? Oh, okay, I see it here. I'm going to say this one time. Thank you, Wrongfully. I should be quiet about this, but I'm going to say it one time. I cannot thank you all enough for trying to politely help me out with the Collins show. Because it has to do with litigation I'm facing, I will be ignoring all of everyone's suggestions and instead be listening to my attorney. So, everyone, I thank you so much for your fantastic suggestions on ways to protect my channel from the trolls. I'm going to be working with my attorney in order to figure out how to best do that, seeing as how I'm being sued for roughly $150,000. So I appreciate there's been a lot of people that have reached out and offered me a lot of suggestions with a lot of work in the background that will require me or other people that should be compensated, which I do not have the money to compensate them for. So I will not be talking about like sort of any more suggestions, and it has nothing to do with not valuing the suggestions that people have. It's just I'm literally listening to one voice right now, and that's my attorney. So that's the way it'll go. But I do appreciate it. I did see that, by the way. And then Searsight, $5 says, good evening, Grub. Good evening to you. What does a lawyer know? how to help me not lose $150,000. You know? I'm being sued by Sarah Tomato. Details when the lawsuit's over, I will. So, in addition to my channel being attacked by Sarah Tomato and her people that she sent over, I'm also being sued for the pleasure of being attacked. So, not really talking about it though. So, alrighty. There is a potential that Pennsylvania will be redrawing their map. Which is nice, very nice. Crisco, yeah, someday we'll do the fishing stream. Probably not, but you know. Get Pisco to be my lawyer. Pack the court if I lose. This court must be packed. So, all right, it's 11:23. We got a good week lineup of shows this week. I got a couple potential guests coming up. In addition, Monday for sure, 8 p.m. tomorrow will be Law and Order. By the way, like, I don't do this often, but the Law and Order theme song is, I mean, come on. This theme song. You get the picture. You'll get to hear the whole song if you show up tomorrow. You will. You'll hear the whole thing. Will that be great? Yes, it will be great. I can't wait, though. So, just to reiterate, all joking aside with I'm speaking now and all that stuff, I do plan on sort of going into campaign mode here and really pushing to get Republicans elected and focusing on how extreme the Democrats, not my words, theirs. Example after example after example after example. Them wanting to do things like packing the courts and many other terrible things. So, that I'm going to spend a lot of focus on that, trying to line up debates, conversations with people. I'm going to be going to Republican events in real life, trying to push sort of those issues. Now, I've been going for about 2 hours. Here's the deal. This is the time of the night where we would normally transition to grifting and playing whip songs. It's the worst. So the 2/3 of you that are going to leave, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern, my friends, for Law and Order on all of these channels. And then I'll do my show afterwards. But it'll be a good show. It will be good. But for those that are staying, whip song time, of course, you know the rules, or at least you should. How do I do that? Did I record before? I don't know how. Oh, yeah, I could record. Bye! Any $100 donation the entire time through the show will get you a song on the whip wheel. It's the worst. I won't explain what it is. $150, you could choose a specific song. $200, you could create a song in the version that you would like, a whip song. However, if someone donates $200 to cancel out all the whip songs, they could do that as well, and they are canceled for the night unless someone donates another $200, which happened tonight. Lavin donated $200. And so there are no whip songs. We had one requested specifically earlier, that stupid ass Wolf Jazz song, which well, Brendan Bell's only here for the whip songs. Well, you're going to be disappointed tonight, my friend. So I owe 0 whip songs, and yeah. Unless someone donates $200, that's all she wrote for it. Sam, $20 says the Panelverse will overcome. Our final form is lawsuits. Damn you, Panelverse. I get it. I would be too broke for that as well. Why am I dirty? I didn't do it. I'm just following the rules. Thanks, Arnemetis. Appreciate it. So I'll stick around for a minute or two. Now, here is one thing. I actually have to announce this. This is a real bummer. Normally, we do Half Price Whip Song once a month, and we do the chat of the month. And that's usually on a Saturday. I was going to plan to do that in one of the next 2 Saturdays, and I can't do that. Next Saturday is a big thing up in the little town where my in-laws are from, called Mayfest. It's a big parade. Everyone comes in for it. We'll be doing a campfire, doing fireworks that evening, so I won't be streaming. Then the Saturday after that will be a friend's birthday party that I have to go out of town for. Can we pull our money together to unban the whip? I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think that's in the rules, and it would be unfair to Lavin. Lavin's chat of the universe. But yeah, that's where we're at. I think it's gonna be early night tonight without a bunch of dumbass whip songs. That's what it sounds like. Lavin is Lex Luthor. That's okay. Oh. Yeah, unless you guys come together to get someone to send you money behind the scenes and pull your money that way. Yeah. But we'll let it run to 11:35. Do I see practicing law as a noble profession? Sure, it can be. It could also be exploitive as well, but yeah, why not? Neck's creaking. What the fuck is that about? Does anybody else like? I sound like if I'm sitting down for like more than 5 minutes, and now I get up, I could hear like my elbows, my knees, my ankles. Like, what the fuck is going on? Getting old sucks, man. I'm only 41. I feel like I'm 70. It's crazy. Now, who's on tonight that we're gonna raid over? I know my man Jake Rattlesnake was over on he was over on whatever today, I believe. Looks maxing all the thoughts. Did I get those terms right? Verified's me. What's going on here? Yeah, it's me. It's a me. I guess we'll raid over to whatever. The Buccos. Yeah, they're doing all right? It's voids and looks smack. See, I don't know. I'm not a look smaxer. I'm not. Sorry to say. Thoughts red pill. Oh, jeez. I'm screwing it up. I'm screwing it all up. Yeah, Jay Dyer's on as well. We're gonna raid over to whatever or whatever. Send us to Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer, send us to Jay Dyer. All right. I thought you'd like to see my good friend Jake Rattlesnake, but fine. Jay Dyer it is. I do need to ascend. I don't have the lingo now. I just don't. What the hell is wrong with me? I'll look, Max. And maybe my looks are maxed. Yeah. This is it. This is all I got. Thank you, Pintuck. I plan on having a wonderful evening. I'll probably do a little work here. Some background computer stuff. Is we're ending a little early. So it should be a good show tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll do the call-in show. I think I'm doing the extravaganza all week. So you'll be able to see me there next. That'll actually be the next place you can see me. 5 p.m. Crucibles. My chair higher? Well, if I sit up, see? But the problem is I lean back and then slide in. So yeah, the Crucibles Rumble channel, 5:30. And then my show tomorrow, 8. Oh, someone said fucking loser to me? Oh no. Sometimes people call me a fucking loser. It's happened. Lavin's going out the villain that he is tonight. All right, well, that's it. We held it off to 11:35. What makes a lawyer good rather than corrupt is someone who's not intentionally using legalese to screw over innocent people. Same thing, it could make a cop good versus a corrupt cop. Are they engaging in corruption? If they're engaging in corruption, breaking the law, etc., for personal gain, then it's bad. There we go. All right. Thank you, Lavin. Well, thank you to my editor, Black Elk. Thank you to all of my moderators who are great. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to Lavin for shutting everyone down tonight. We showed them. That'll learn them. No whip songs tonight. Faith or willpower, you can't argue one over the other. Faith. What do you mean? I did have breakfast. Take a moment. Think of the life of Charlie Kirk, what he represented, the coalition he built, and as we talked about with the court packing. As always, what we see with these lunatic people on the left, because they feel they're morally superior, the ends will always justify the means. And just like they want a court pack now and do all these things to ensure they never lose, that's what the assassination of Charlie Kirk was about. It wasn't about Charlie Kirk's too extreme. It was about he was effective. Never forget that. So say a prayer for Charlie and his family, his daughters that'll never have a father again, and never forget what the stakes are. So take just one moment and remember his light. So thanks so much, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. As always, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.